We are back with a round 8 feature match. This is Michael Kohanim. I'm here with Robert Boyajian and guest commentator Billy Brake with the commentary for this round. We have Benedikt Junk using a clipboard deck against Matt Heuvel running a Necros deck in this feature match. Both of these decks are popular at the top tables, and both of these duelists are currently doing well.
Undefeated.
They are undefeated.
Yeah, this is table 1, I think.
Yeah. It's also interesting because neither of them are Americans, right? Matt is from Canada and Benedikt from Germany. So we have a foreign battle here.
We have an international
150th.
Yes. As many of you probably know, duelists travel from all over to compete in the 150th event. This is a landmark event. This is not your ordinary YCS.
Yeah, it feels like a nationals almost. Like, it's pretty nice. I'm pretty surprised, like, because Clifford's at like a lot of the top tables and doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. I guess lose one turn really made like a huge impact on the deck's effectiveness.
Yeah, they could basically go back because after Skill Drain and Vanity's Emptiness got hit, Quillfort turned into a deck that was just trying to OTK with cards like the Quillfort Monolith, and all those. But now it can go back to what Quillfort did best, was just sit with Scout and set and hope to win like that. So
yeah, lose one turn is definitely a great card, like arguably one of the best in the new set.
It's also interesting that Benedikt is playing 2 copies of Perform Pal Trampling, so he's just trying to open up the combo as soon as possible, get as much advantage, set his trap cards, and win like that. So it's most definitely a more aggressive version of the deck, I think. Like that combo.
Yeah, playing 2 Trampolinics is not normal. Like a lot of people don't even play it anymore.
Yeah, it's not very popular at all. And then looking at Matt's deck, the interesting things to know are the 2 copies of Breakthrough Skill main deck, which aren't going to be very good in this matchup, or most likely won't be.
Yeah, they could hit the
stealth
disc, the one disc.
Or see 3 stealth. See this. So
yeah, stealth's amazing.
Really
Clifford stealth is arguably the best one. He's replaced disc.
Yeah. Matt also has access to the Armageddon Knight package with Shadal Dragon, thankfully, for this matchup.
Yeah, as well as definitely going to help.
Yeah. He also has DD Warrior Lady, which probably won't come up too much, but it's most definitely an option whenever he finds it with Rhoda. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can take care of, like, he just has, like, Summon Helix pass. You could banish it and won't be coming back.
It also gets around Sacrifice, which is nice. Not the biggest deal, but something that might come up if he's trying to go through game through a monster.
True, true. He's only main decking, Matt is main decking 2 Mystical Space Typhoons, so
hopefully
that can help. He definitely doesn't want to draw that if his opponent draws a lose one turn.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's interesting. Matt Heuvel is using 2 copies of Fire and Ice Hand in his side deck. That's definitely looks like it's been a popular choice this weekend.
It really is, because you can side it not only against Cliffords but against Shadal's, like because it destroys everything that they're trying to do.
We figured out earlier that if your opponent crush cards you can send Fire Hands from your deck.
That was the thing. Everyone was talking.
Awesome.
It was like buzzing yesterday about it. Like, I'm going to send 2 Fire Hands, summon 2 Ice.
Yep. Yeah, so that's a cool combo, too.
Yeah,
haven't seen it yet, though.
No, Crush card's not very popular because of the things it can send, and if you're playing against Shadal's, you just can't even activate the Crush card.
Exactly.
Because they can send the Beast from their deck and the Squamata, draw a card.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows, in case they're unfamiliar with Crush Card Virus's new effect, when you activate Crush Card Virus by tributing a dark monster with 1,000 or fewer attack points, then it destroys all cards in your opponent's hand and on their field with 1,500 or more attack points. Its secondary effect now is to allow your opponent to send 3 monsters with 1,500 more attack points from their deck to their graveyard if they so choose.
Yeah.
Duelists are now using that additional effect, or at least trying to use that additional effect to their advantage by sending monsters with effects that activate when they do so. That's where Fire Hand comes in.
Yeah, it's kind of the downside to Crush Card Virus. Like when it actually got released, I would always joke, like, I'm just going to side Fire King Garunix and Sacred Phoenix and Nephthys. So if I get Crush Carded, I just destroy both of them. During my standby phase, I destroy all the monsters and then destroy all the spell and traps and have like a lot of damage on the board.
Yeah, it's specific to note that it destroys the monsters in your deck, doesn't just send them.
Right.
So that's why these cards
trigger.
Yeah.
Right. So it also triggers Light and Darkness Dragon, which when it's destroyed from anywhere, you can destroy your own entire field, but in exchange for that, you get to special summon a monster.
Yeah, we have yet to see the Christia Light and Darkness Dragon Crush Card answer combo.
Oh, that's really
in the feature match area, but we're excited.
Oh, looks like we're about to start the duel.
The duel is underway.
Drawing Dragon is interesting because he can tribute with Valk or use it for a ritual to pop a card, but not having it in your deck for Armageddon Knight to send is obviously not the best thing. Yeah. So we'll see.
And most people do not like opening Necros of Gungnir because it's not very effective, but it's actually one of the best Necros against Clifford. But we don't know if he knows he's playing against Clifford. I would assume so because it's late in the tournament and they've been sitting next to each other all day.
Yeah, we actually talked about earlier how Necros of Gungnir has not seen a lot of play this weekend. I don't think I've seen a single deck list in the feature match area, the video feature match area, that used Necros of Gungnir. Now, Matt Heuvel is using it. He does appear to be undefeated with it. So it's definitely working out for him, perhaps because players are not anticipating it, perhaps because players believe that no one's using Necros of Gungnir.
Yeah, I actually had a feature match, a written one last round, where the player was able to win because he had a Zephyr Saber with an emptiness up and a set card, and his opponent Dark Holes, and he chains Gungnir onto the Zephyr Saber, so the emptiness stays.
It would stay anyway, though, because they would go to the Pendulum Zone.
Oh, you're right.
but
no, he was also locked under his emptiness, so he couldn't special summon anyway. But the fact that he was able to keep a threat along with it was really cool.
Indeed.
Okay.
I think
so. Yeah. So Junk starts off with 2 copies of Summoner's Art to search Quillfort Scout and Quillfort Monolith.
Off to a good start.
Yeah, assembling the scale.
He placed his Scout in his Pendulum Zone, paid 800 life points to activate its effect, and now he gets to add any clipboard card from his hand, from his deck to his hand.
Most likely Sacrifice, I would assume, unless he does not have a monster, but usually it's just Sacrifice.
That's usually the first choice, and in this case it is. Now that Sacrifice is limited, it's a little harder to get, but with Clipboard Scout,
you got to put it in the right pendulum zone. Scales have to go on each side.
Yeah. And he
pendulum summon. Maybe?
He's going to do a stealth combo to bounce back his Scout.
And he's gonna, this is really good for him. This is a great opening.
This is probably what his deck's made to do, because he uses 3 stealth rather than disc. He's trying to go for this combo to turn 1, get as much advantage as he can, and then just ride the rest of the game with his trap cards and his disruption.
Indeed.
So now he's using the effect of his Sacrifice.
Indeed.
Get Carrier. He boosts all the Clifforts while he's in the Pendulum Zone, right? By 300.
Which one?
Carrier. Helix is the one that minuses the 300 to all your opponents?
I believe so, but he's not placing that.
Yeah, I know.
Putting the Scout back in, paying another 800 life points, searching for another card.
Recreate.
So it's pretty nice to be able to search for a negation card.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this might be close to not the standard opening, but what he's trying to do every turn. Just pendulum out a guy, set Recreate, draw off the additional search. Yeah, get a draw off Monolith and write it out.
You have a 2800 stealth that can be effective.
While Clipboard Monolith is in the Pendulum Zone, anytime you tribute a monster, is it a Clipboard monster only?
Yeah, I do believe if you tribute summon it's only when you tribute summon a Clipboard monster.
For every tributed Quillfort monster.
Was it that?
I think so.
It's during the end phase. If you tribute summon this turn, you can draw a number of cards equal to the number of Clip monsters you tributed for tribute summons this turn. So yes,
so it doesn't matter what you summon.
It draws a card for every Clipboard monster that you tributed. You get to draw a card.
Something that I think we're going to see very soon, so I would like to talk about, is the Recreate and how that works. So Recreate's an interesting card because it's a mandatory effect that negates effects. So it says when a monster is normal summoned, excuse me. We will find out what it is.
Get that exact text.
Yeah, we're getting the exact text for you guys.
In the meantime, we have Matt Heuvel activating Preparation of Rites, searching for Necros of Brionac.
Tributing Shrit, which is always good. And Shadal Dragon.
So here he's going to get the trigger off the Shadal Dragon and get a search for Shrit. So he's
trying to utilize the dragon the only way he really can with the hand he has. And as I said, Gungnir is actually really good against Clipforts, but the Recreate will stop it if he activates it. So he's going to probably search a Trishula. Does Recreate target?
No, I don't believe it targets.
So you can't search.
Can he tribute? He can tribute non-Necros.
Yeah. You can
just
tribute
any rituals
as long as the total level equals. That's why he's able to use Shrit and Dragon here, because even though Shrit would take up the whole entire ritual summon, because he can add up to 7, it's the right number.
He's just using it as a regular level 3 monster here.
Indeed.
He would still get his Shrit's effect, right?
Yes.
Yep, he gets both.
So this is a very, very good play, because even if
he targets the Recreate here, it won't be able to just get rid of it finally.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he did target the Recreate. And he decided to chain Book of Moon to the Gungnir, so if he chained Gungnir's effect, he would be able to chain the Recreate to the Gungnir. I don't know if that would do anything.
No, I also believe he's chaining the Book of Moon, so then in case Matt would search a Trishula,
he has to
so
stop
he gets
it.
Additional protection. But now he doesn't even have to worry about that. Because Gungnir obviously poses a huge problem against Quillfort Scout, because if you can blow that away, then suddenly Junk's plan of just riding out the game via
he's trying to win right here, because since he's already used Brionic, he can't search for Brionic with the Shrit to search for Necros of Valkyris, which would keep him alive. So he's just hoping his opponent doesn't have Necros of Valkyries, and he'll be able to Pendulum Summon and tribute for another Stealth and attack for game next turn. Stealth is a really good card, Clifford Stealth.
Yeah. I think Junk's list, even though it's not necessarily the most standard right now, like the 3 Stealth variant may become the most popular very soon.
The standard?
Yeah.
And going into Nationals, it's important, or World Championship qualifier, it's important to know what the meta is and how it's changing.
Exactly.
Because Clifford used to run 3 disc, and they would run 1 stealth, maybe 2 stealth.
Yeah, and if the most popular version is just a 3 stealth variant, then obviously poses a very different strategy.
And you have to play different to the deck.
Exactly.
Just thinking about what to get here. Oh, he kaleidoscope. Use Necro as a kaleidoscope for Unicorn, so we can search for that Valk. Just like I was saying, like he needs to stay alive because he realizes he might.
Yeah. Here it also lets him Diamond Direwolf or Castel, whichever he wants, the opposing scout, which is good.
Yep.
Depending on how many.
You won't be able to do anything with that stealth.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, if you tribute summon for the Clifford monsters, they're unaffected by any monster effects that are levels or ranks less than their own levels.
Equal to or less.
It's equal to, or I thought equal you could affect them.
Oh no, actually no, you're right. Yeah, it's equal to
Yeah,
because you can use the hands on the on the level 4s. Yeah, you're right. My apologies. Here, Matt's calculating whether or not he may have game.
I think he's adding what he has to do to not, lose
that
next
makes
turn.
sense. Yeah, he also has Raigeki, so that's a pretty good out to the stealth if he wants to.
Matt has the Raigeki?
Yeah, in his hand.
Oh, that is pretty good. Oh, then maybe he is calculating if he can do the damage.
Exactly. I was like, man.
Oh, yeah,
but it makes no sense. Yeah, all he has is Valk. So unless he's trying to like Diamond Dire his own Gungnir to search a ritual spell, I don't think that may be the most optimal. Yeah, Matt's lack of decisive armor may...
Necros of decisive armor is one of my favorite Necros of them all, but sadly he doesn't see play as much. And a lot of players do choose to play either Gungnir or Necros of decisive armor because of the inconsistencies they can have in your opening hand.
They also play very similar roles in the rogue matchup where you summon one and then your opponent has a hard time dealing with it, and then you can revive it back with Cycle. And it's just a card advantage engine that poses a huge threat against what they're trying to do.
So he does go for the Raigeki to destroy the stealth. Looks like he made some attacks. Xyz summoned Daigusto Emerald in his second main phase and is now using its effect to return 3 of his cards to his deck.
And the only card he has
draw a new card.
Yep, and the only card in his hand is a Necros of Valkyries. So I'm assuming he's doing this play because he knows he's in danger because he's going to have the scout to pay 8 to search for any Clifford he wants and then Pendulum and Tribute. Yeah, and so he's looking for something right now to help.
He's definitely not in great shape because Junk now has multiple cards in his extra deck that he can Xyz summon, Pendulum summon, and he has a scout on his field that he can use to get more clipboards from his deck.
Clifford Scout is what Pendulum's needed. It is the best Pendulum monster, arguably.
Not close.
There's not much of an argument here.
But yeah, Matt drawing Farfa isn't the best. I think what he's trying to do is Daigusto Emerald to something like Senju or something that can get him further to accomplishing more with his Gungnir. Because having Valkenham makes you so safe with your Gungnir that you just want to protect it and then disrupt later. But it could have been that making a Diamond Direwolf there or Castel to shuffle away the Scout might have been a little more effective. But
do we know what? Did you see what Junk searched off the sacrifice?
Well, we know he has a carrier, a disc, and a pot of duality in his hand. Thanks to.
So I guess it was the disc, probably. Okay. Or maybe the carrier. Oh, it was the carrier because I asked about the effect, the pendulum scale.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sure it was, the carrier.
That was 100% the carrier. That might also be why. Does carrier have the same scale as scout? If so, he could be.
Yes, carrier's the one with the scout's 1, correct? Yep.
Then that was probably Junk saying that, like, oh, even if you destroy my scout, I can still play a card, pendulum summon, and do a lot.
Tribute.
So that's really.
So he pays 800 life points.
Switches for Clifford Carrier.
So he's carried his hand.
So he's going to Pendulum Summon his Carrier in Stealth, probably, and then tribute them both for Disc. Oh, he has another thing underneath the Stealth.
He has 2 Stealths.
Oh.
Because remember, he Pendulum.
And tributed, yes.
Yep.
So this is where Pendulum decks get dangerous. Once you start filling up your extra deck with Pendulum monsters that you can special summon, you're able to special summon a lot of monsters for free every turn. That's one of the things that makes Clipboard so powerful.
They're constantly putting the pressure on you.
Right. And even when your extra deck is not full of Pendulum monsters, if you have Clipboard Scout in your Pendulum Zone, you can use that to grab cards from your deck to build up to what you ultimately want, which is the ability to Pendulum summon a lot of different monsters. And looks like that's what's happening here. He just Pendulum summoned 4 monsters to the field. 4 monsters to the field, contributed 2 of those monsters to summon Clipboard Disc.
And just summons 2 from the deck.
Yep. Both carriers also activated to bounce away the Dagusto Emerald and the Gungnir. So even though he had Valkyries, he won't be able to protect the Dagusto Emerald specifically.
And I'm assuming he brought the Clipboard Scouts out in defense mode because he knows he's not going to get through with this attack more than likely. And I guess they just want to take damage.
Possibly. I mean, they also have like lower attack because they were Pendulum Summon, right? So they're 14s. 14?
18?
18.
Clipboard.
That's 18.
If it's 1800. All the Clipboards are 1800 when they're special summoned.
I don't know why I thought it was
or normal summoned.
I got Manju and Senju on the mind. Hands on the mind. But yeah, that seems right.
Maybe looks like he drew a Shuret from his turn. Necros.
Yeah. The fact that he's also at 2700, like maybe he just wants more defense because the monsters that you get off disc are destroyed during the end phase, right? So then even though he gets them out to attack with them, they'll go away. So then he'll just have the 2800 disc plus the 2 monsters of defense, hoping that'll be enough of a board against the Gungnir to not lose.
But you see, now he attacked with all his monsters, and he didn't have to use the Valkyries because he brought the stealth out in defense mode. So he hung on to the Valkyries for the next turn because he's trying to. Yeah,
that was exactly game, right? If you switch them to attack mode, it's 36 plus 36 plus. Oh no, that's more than game, right?
Yeah,
it's 72 plus 28.
Because the disc is at 28.
Yeah.
So now he draws 2 cards in his end phase thanks to the Monolith, since he contributed to 2 of his Clipboards this turn.
Yeah. No. At the same time, though, Junk's play might have been correct. He was actually at 1900 because they missed a pay for Scout, I guess. So like any 2 monsters just attacking over the.
He felt the only way he would lose this game is if he got the free damage.
Maybe not the only way, but it would be a very easy way for him to lose. I agree.
And we have Matt activating Necros Mirror's effect from the graveyard to banish itself in a Necros card to search for any Necros ritual spell from the deck.
This is super good because he already has Shrit in his graveyard, so then he can get Gungnir going if he wants to. He can also use Farfa as part of the he can just normal summon if he wants to banish it, do whatever, or he can use it as part of a ritual like he did with the dragon previously for another
to summon
monster,
the Gungnir back out.
But we'll see what he ends up deciding to do.
He does have a lot of options. That is one thing I personally like about Necros is the amount of options the deck has.
Looks like it's going to be very tough for him to break through this, though.
I think all he really has to do, though, is stick a Gungnir, and then the Gungnir threatens to take over the game because he first gets rid of a Scout. He can get rid of a Scout during his turn, and then during his opponent's turn try to blow away whatever skill he puts back. But
since Gungnir is once per turn during either player's turn,
that's true.
And it's a quick effect.
Yeah.
So you can chain it to other.
Yeah. Although cards are placed in the Pendulum Zone like spell cards, so even if he destroys 1 card in the Pendulum on his own turn and 1 on his opponent's turn, Junk might have 2 more cards to place in the Pendulum Zone, and you just Pendulum Summon again.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
a powerful pendulum mechanic.
Yeah.
He can also he can try to Trishula, right? He just searches Bryonics for Trishula, and then activates the mirror, and can even use the Farfa as part of the
and a Bryonic from his graveyard.
Yeah.
And save the Shrit for later.
Yeah, maybe.
But he might want to leave the. Well, if he had to do that, we'll see what he ends up deciding to do.
Yeah.
He has lots of options. Goes to the Necros. Maybe he's going to Bryonic back the stealths to the extra deck.
That would be neat.
So he activates Necros Mirror, uses the Shuret in his graveyard as the entire tribute by banishing it, summons Necros of Valkyries to his field.
This is an exact situation where Necros of Decisive Armor would be a great card to have in the deck because he could summon that one first, go for his face down back row, then summon the Necros of Bryonic, bounce the 2 stealths, attack over the stealth, and attack for game with everything else.
Armor is so large. I completely agree.
It's definitely not commonly played, so it could take a lot of players by surprise.
I'm actually just surprised more players chose to use Gungnir over it, though, because it seems like Gungnir...
Regeki and 2 Dark Holes was very popular this weekend, I think, and they were just thinking...
That makes
and Mirror Force is a really popular trap right now.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of... That makes a lot of sense. But at what point do you search Gungnir? Like, at what point do you search Gungnir on your turn 1 over Valkyries, knowing that so many players are using cards like DD Warrior, Lady Bull, Blader, Camera Clops, and other like attack monsters?
It's hard to say. We have a Necros of Valkyries.
So Heuvel is working on destroying Junk's field.
Stealth Defense 1000, right, I think. Nope, here comes Valk.
He activates the effect of his Necros of Valkyrist. That allows him to tribute 2 of his monsters from his field and or his hand.
He can Farfa his own Valkyrist and then use his ritual spells from his grave.
Oh, and it looks like what he might be doing.
That's cool.
This is not just cool. This is awesome.
So for each of those monsters he tributes, he gets to draw a card. So he's drawing.
He draws 2 cards.
Drew 2 cards with the effect of Valkyrist. Then Farfa's effect activates, which lets him banish a monster on the field until the end phase. He banished his own Valkyrist in order to leave himself with a clear field. As Robbie mentioned earlier, that's probably with the goal of then banishing the Mirror and Necros monster from his graveyard to use the Ritual Spell card's effect, which would allow him to add another Necros Ritual Spell card from his deck to his hand.
Something I just want to note what just happened here, you saw him thinking about grabbing a Necros of Valkyrist, but then he decided against it, and that's because since Cliffords only have 1 sacrifice, they can't really attack over a 2900 attack monster. So the only way they can deal with it is by tributing Carrier and bouncing it. And when you bounce Valkyrist, you can now end their battle phase. Yeah. So he realized it immediately. He's like, oh, I don't need to get Valkyrist because it's going to come back from the Farfa.
Yeah, I think he still decided to, right? Though
he did.
He did end up getting it.
Yeah.
So maybe he decided it was
just being safe.
Yeah.
I guess there's potential that Benedikt could pendulum summon, destroy his own pendulum card with something like a Helix, and then activate one that boosts or decreases.
Yeah, that would probably be a heads-up play.
So he activates Reinforcement of the Army, uses to get Necros of Causalist, then discards Necros of Causalist, which lets him add a Ritual Spell card, which appears to be Necros Cycle from his deck to his hand. Now, as was mentioned before, he's going to banish a Ritual Spell card from his graveyard along with one of his Necros Ritual monsters. He chose to banish the Kaleidoscope from his graveyard, and that lets him add another Ritual Spell card from his deck to his hand, taking another Necros Cycle. So that Farfa was actually pretty cool here.
Yeah,
it was very effective.
I feel like his follow-up was not that great. Nothing really happened afterwards.
I think his goal was to try to thin to find, because he's like one Manju, Senju, or Bryonic away, or Unicorn away from his hand being very, very good. Yeah. And he's just trying to thin as much as possible to try to get there.
Yeah, he definitely accomplished that. He also set up for his next turn pretty well, as long as he makes it through this turn.
Yeah. I mean, with a Valkyrist in play and a Valkyrist in hand, it's hard not to.
Yeah, it definitely is hard not to. Is there any way that he won't make it to next turn?
Well, he's looking at his extra deck right now because I think he sees that he has a potential play with the Helix thing, like I mentioned earlier. Like, he's reading Heartland Draco, which, for those of you who don't know what it does at home, can basically use its effect to cause it to be able to attack directly. So it can deal with
attach 2 materials, right?
Yeah.
So you attach both the materials, and then you can now attack directly with the 2000 attack Heartland Draco.
Is Heartland Draco both materials?
I think
it's only one.
I thought it was both. Is it one?
Let me look.
It also works where if you control a continuous spell, it can't be attacked. I don't think that works with pendulum spells, but it would be neat if it
it has to be continuous, yeah.
But also that play isn't the best because he knows that Matt already has a copy of Necros of Valkyries.
It is one. It's only one material.
Number 82 only requires you to attack one Xyz material to attack directly with it.
Which is also cool because that means he can threaten to win the game, still get the Valk, and then be able to do it next turn if he has some way to protect it. Assuming he has a way to protect it. But he has Vanny's Emptiness in his hand. So that actually could be his way to victory.
Benedikt does?
Yeah.
Oh, Vanny's Emptiness is a great card.
Yep.
It is that.
It's pretty simple. Neither player can special summon monsters, and in Yu-Gi-Oh! Special monsters is one of the most important aspects of the game.
Especially for Necros.
Especially.
How they win.
It's all they can do.
Yeah. For those of you at home that didn't realize that Ritual Summon was a special summon, and that was very necessary for Necros to operate effectively.
And that's why Vanny's Emptiness is at 1 now, because of how powerful in every deck it was in.
But it seems like with it going to 1, rather than causing it to see less play, everyone just started including a single copy. So, but you most definitely, it's less painful than it used to be against decks like Quillfort and decks that just tried to flip a Vanny's Emptiness and then you get through it, and then they flip a second Vanny's Emptiness or another trap card that hinders you.
Now you just have to deal with cards like Lose One Turn and Mistake. But
Alright, so let's see what's going on here.
Pendulum Summon for 2?
2 Helixes.
Looks like he's, taking 2 monsters.
Are you looking at Rhapsody Berserk?
As a potential way to attack through. Oh, maybe he can do the Rhapsody plus.
He's pendulum 3. I think he's still thinking.
Yeah, he's still deciding. He's going for as many as he can.
I think it's because he wants to Xyz summon.
Yeah, so he's going to tribute both his Helix, destroy both of his pendulum zones, so he can overlay for...
He has to be careful here, though. He can't, even though he has another scout in hand, he can't necessarily pay for scout again because it puts him below cowboy range.
Yeah, but he's not going to summon it again. I'm pretty sure since he was looking at Rhapsody Berserk, he must only have 2 Necros cards.
So he uses, so he gets to destroy 2 spell or trap cards on the field and return a monster to the hand. So he destroys his own clipboard cards at his Pendulum Zone and returns the Valkyrus to his opponent's hand, it looks like. If any of you are unfamiliar with how the clipboard monsters work in the Pendulum Zone, as long as they're there, you can't special summon.
It doesn't look like he has any other Necros monsters in the graveyard.
You can't special summon non-clipboard monsters. So you're unable to... Is that correct? Non-clipboards you can't summon?
You can only special summon Quillfort monsters, is what it says.
Yes, so you cannot special summon monsters except clip monsters. Yeah. So while those were in his Pendulum Zone, he was not able to summon Rhapsody and Berserk.
So he had to destroy both of them himself?
Yes, realizing he would win on that turn, he destroyed his own Pendulum spells, Xyz summoned number 80 Rhapsody and Berserk, and then detached both of his Xyz materials to remove the 2 Necros cards from his opponent's graveyard. With those cards gone, his opponent couldn't use Necros of Valkyrus to block his attacks. You could discard Necros of Valkyrus from your hand and banish a Necros card from your graveyard to stop a monster's attack and end the battle phase. But without those Necros cards there, the Necros of Valkyrus couldn't be used. So realizing that opening, Junk was able to summon Rhapsody and Berserk, turn off the Necros of Valkyrus, and win the duel on that turn, even though it initially appears to be counterintuitive that he would destroy his own Pendulum cards.
Indeed. Destroying your own Pendulum cards is actually something that's really good in Clipforts because they go to your extra deck and they will just come out to the field.
It's true.
When you Pendulum summon them.
You see it a lot. You also see Trample Links, Perform a Pile of Trample Links, returning them to your hand. Yeah. Typically to the same end, so that you're able to special summon non-clipboard monsters, but also because if you return the Scout to your hand, you can replay it, pay another 800 life points, and search for another clipboard monster from your deck.
Exactly.
Or a clipboard card, rather. So
recollate as well.
Yeah. Anytime you open Scout and Tramplings, it's very, very hard for the opponent to win because you just get so far ahead via the effect of Scout. You get to set up the Sacrifice and the Recollate, assuming you've drawn any other monster, and then have that for turn 1. Then turn 2 follow up with a Scout Search for Stealth or a Scout Search for a Disc to go for more aggression if you want. But the whole point is, like, next turn you can search for Stealth, tribute away the guy. Well, you pay for Scout first, so you get an additional card the next turn. Then you tribute away the guy for Stealth to bounce back the Scout. So you get another search with Sacrifice, and then you can replay the Scout to search another card. So that's 3 searches on your second turn, assuming you open Scout Tramplings, which give you 2 searches on your first turn. So that's a +5 over the course of 2 turns off of a single Scout.
It's great. All the things you can utilize with Clifford archetype. He's cited in Monarch Stormforth and what else?
Majesty's Fiend as well as Spell Canceller, in addition to Mind Crush.
It's interesting that he tries to still go with Spell Canceller, since in this newest set, Zephyr Saber, Swordmaster of the Necros, is a ritual spell itself. You can tribute from your hand to ritual summon a Necros monster, so it gets around cards like Spell Canceller and Anti-Spell Fragrance, and you can discard Necros Embryonic to search it from your deck. But it's not very popular.
No, Matt Heuvel's actually siding one, but I don't think he's going to bring it in because typically Quillfort doesn't have cards such as Spell Canceller.
They don't normally ever use Spell Canceller.
Yeah, or Anti-Spell or anything
because
similar.
Those cards hurt themselves. Because while Spell Canceller's up or Anti-Spell Fragrance, you can't activate your Pendulum monsters.
But if we do see them, if Matt Heuvel does see the Spell Canceller in Duel 2, he'll know to put in the Zephyr Saber in Duel 3.
If he can survive through a Spell Canceller during Duel 2. So that's where it's...
Fair point.
Benedikt opened with Spell Canceller.
Oh, no, and he's going first. Oh, jeez. See, this is about as ideal. He had 2 trap cards. Or 1 trap card? 1 trap card, lose a turn.
Lose a turn and Spell Canceller.
Oh, man.
This is going to be a rough game for Matt since Benedikt opened with a pretty good hand. He activates Clifford Scout, pay 800 to search his deck for any Clifford card.
What do you think he finds here? Recreate?
I think he takes...
he already has a monster to Pendulum Summon if he wants to. So he could set up, lose a turn, Recreate, Spell Canceller.
Yeah, maybe. Or Sacrifice just to get it.
Just to search it?
Does he have a way to summon Spell Canceller this turn?
Yeah, he can Pendulum Summon the one... the Helix from his hand, and then just tribute summon the Spell Canceller.
And since he tributed Clifford Monster when he activates his Monolith, he'll get to draw a card at the end phase as well.
Yeah. So he searches Regulate just to have as much disruption as possible, because that's how he thinks he's going to win the game. He's going to summon his Spell Canceller, set his 2 traps, He won't be able to use Scout the next turn because it's a spell, and Spell Cancel will negate it. But he's also free to special summon monsters that aren't Quillforts, although that probably won't matter very much. He also doesn't get to draw a card off Monolith, right?
He does get to. Because it's when you tribute Cliffort monsters, not
but
for
it's negated by Spell Cancel.
Is it continuously negated?
I believe so. No. I don't think he gets to draw. See?
No, he's looking at it right now.
Trying to resolve it.
Well, let's see if we can get Spell Canceller up here.
It continuously negates spell cards, but Monolith...
It's whether or not Monolith like triggers and then... No, I'm pretty sure it negates it. There's no way he gets to draw.
Well, does Monolith start a chain in the... I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter. It's just negated. Like, regardless, even if it's like a...
Yeah, spell
the effects of spell cards are also negated.
Spell Canceller reads, as long as this card remains face up on the field, spell cards cannot be activated. The effects of all spell cards are also negated.
I think, but Firehand... is actually just dismantles the spell cancel. We didn't even realize.
The 6th card? No,
I don't think it was his 6th card. I think it was just hiding.
No. Well,
because he flipped it to the front. I think his 6th card was Necros of Bionic.
We're about to find out why Necros players have decided to side the hands. Fire and Ice Hand.
What sucks is that he drew Ice Hand instead of Fire Hand. So that means he has to start on Fire Hand to destroy the spell canceller and get Ice Hand. Whereas if he had Ice Hand instead, he gets to destroy a back row. And then special summon Fire Hand to destroy the spell canceller.
Gets
and
more
then
value.
Attack. Yeah.
So there's the Fire Hand. He summons it to the field as you anticipated. I would imagine he'll be attacking with it. Otherwise, he would have said it.
Actually, he loses 1 turn.
All right.
So that's not going to stop Fire Hand's effect in the graveyard to destroy spell canceller.
Oh.
It will cause him not to be able to attack with Ice Hand.
Because it will come out in defense mode.
Yeah. So he can just get it in defense mode instead. But
well, yeah, it's going to be in defense either way.
No, if he had something like a Ghost Rabbit and Snow Ogre, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, he could special in attack mode, have to lose a turn trigger, and then chain Ghost Ogre to it. But I think he would rather save Ghost Ogre for the Scout anyway. Not that Ghost Ogre is even in his hand, but it's just a cool thing you can do.
Okay, so to lose 1 turn there, basically just stop the attack of the Ice Hand.
It puts it. Since it was a special summon monster, it just goes to defense mode.
All right, so not particularly effective there. Spared him 1,400 points of damage, yeah.
Which is really important in Clifford, actually, because you pay your life down so fast searching your deck with Scout. You want to stay as high as you possibly can. Victory's Necros Brionic, search for Necros of Unicorn. Discard Necros Unicorn for Brionic. He's bluffing a Necros of Valkyries.
This is a play that I think a lot of people overlook when they do it. They just Brionic for Valkyries, thinking like, oh, I need Valkyries, but there's a lot of value in just putting a Necros card in your graveyard while it looks like you're doing nothing, even if you are doing nothing.
Does he have a way to Exciton Knight here?
I don't believe he can because of lose a turn.
Oh, lose a turn is
basically, it is a skill drain.
He's losing more than a turn to that card.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, lose 1 turn. It should have been lose all your turns.
But yeah, as I was saying, just bluffing Valkyries here, I think, has a lot of value because he gets the Brionic back. And excuse me, what were you going to say?
I would say we saw this like in the last game that he had the Valkyries, and you just I want to bring myself out of defense mode because I'm not going to be able. You're going to have Necros of Valkyries anyway. So by doing this play, he's been going to assume he has the Necros of Valkyries.
Exactly.
The lose 1 turn, that's negation effect does not use the chain, right?
No.
Only when you special summon in attack mode. They will start a chain for the defense position.
The part of the card that starts a chain is the switching to defense mode. Otherwise, it's skill drain for special summon effect monsters.
Oh, I think he's considering just activating Cycle and tributing away one of the Senju or Manju from his hand to bring back the Unicorn after he discards it, and then trying to make an Exceed here that will work during his opponent's turn. So something like, can he do Teller? He might be able to do Teller Knight Ptolemaeus into something like Pallades if he has it, but I'm not sure. Oh, he has Durandal.
Discards Unicorn, gets back Necros of Brionic, activates the Cycle, tributes the Senju from his hand, special summons the Necros of Unicorn. So now he does have 2 level 4 monsters, but as you mentioned before, pretty much any efforts to Ixie summon will be thwarted by the lose 1 turn trap card.
Yes, but lose 1 turn only affects the monster for that turn.
So if the
Xyz monster 1 turn.
So if the Xyz monster survives, he'll be able to use its effect on the following turn.
Yes. I think he might go for the Teller Knight Ptolemaeus here. He's really strong, assuming he has, or Exciton. Exciton's actually just so safe.
Exciton you can use during your opponent's battle phase as well as your own turn, as long as you control less, or you have less cards.
Yeah, in spite of the lose 1 turn, he goes for the Exciton Knight. the Evil Swarm Exciton Knight switched into defense mode, or he summons in defense mode. Either way.
Here he's just banking on
hoping it doesn't get carried before he gets into the battle phase.
Yeah.
And there's the carrier.
Well, he has the scout face of it anyway, but
well, yeah, but he needed to drop Quillfort there.
He did.
It could have been any Quillfort basically, but
the carrier helps because now he can pendulum summon them both.
Also, he can search for a stealth off the scout, pendulum summon both monsters, tribute for the stealth, bounce away the Exciton, bounce away his scout, replay the scout, search for sacrifice, equip the sacrifice, attack, and then lose a turn, sacrifice on a Quillfort stealth.
Well, they'll be in defense mode because lose a turn.
I don't think I followed one thing you just said.
Okay, so basically what he can do is pay 100 for a Quillfort scout, right? Adding Quillfort stealth to his hand. He can then pendulum summon both the Quillfort Helix from his extra deck and the Quillfort carrier he just drew.
Okay, then I'll have 2 monsters on the field.
Yes, and then he can tribute both away for Quillfort stealth. Have the carrier bounce away the Exciton, and then the stealth bounce back up his own scout, right?
Yep, and then he can
replay the scout, pay 800 to search, sacrifice, and equip it. And because the stealth was tribute summoned, not special summoned, lose a turn doesn't affect it at all. So he can still just attack.
Is that what he's doing?
It is.
It looks like
I can't imagine him doing any other line of play. It's pretty. This is what I said. The problem with doing the Exciton play, chances are they're not
fragile.
Yeah, they're not going to make it to the battle phase.
Well, he might have if it weren't for that draw phase.
Well, his draw phase could have had just almost any Quillfort monster.
There were definitely a lot of cards he could have drawn to get out of that, to get rid of the Exciton Knight. But I still don't dislike the Exciton Knight play, though, because he was definitely behind. He was definitely not in the best shape. And when you're in a position like that, you need to take risks.
Yeah, that's just the great. Lose one turn is just such a great card. It puts you in those positions where you have to try to do something.
Right. So, if that had paid off, he would have been able to just come from behind, clear the field, and turn what was every turn a pendulum summon with a free search, with several back rows into a clear field, and just turn the duel right around.
And he has the Quillfort mono, so he gets to draw 2 cards at his end phase as well.
And one of them being a second copy of lose a turn. So even if the first gets removed,
so he drew an ice hand for his turn.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So he has a
chance. But he's already
here.
used. Even though he's already used one ice hand.
Obviously, it did not pan out the way he had anticipated when he summoned the Exciton.
It's unfortunate, though, because even though he drew the ice hand, he can summon, attack, get rid of lose a turn, right? But then the fire hand can't do anything, right? Because he's unaffected.
Yeah, you leave the fire hand, and then I'm assuming maybe you can find a way to make an Exceeds play after that.
Yeah.
And now that the loser turn's gone, since he'll have the level 4 on the field, he needs to find a way to use Necroz's Kaleidoscope, summon a Necroz's Unicorn. Oh, well, he's adding Necroz's Kaleidoscope to his hand right now by banishing Cycle.
Yeah. So but then he might get caught in the Junks Recreate.
Yeah, he does know the Recreate is face down from the beginning.
Okay, so Matt Heuvel summons Ice Hand, attacks. Since Ice Hand is destroyed in battle, it destroys a back row. And after doing so, Heuvel uses its effect to special summon a Fire Hand from his deck.
And sadly, the Fire Hand will not be able to destroy the Scout if it attacks, so he brings out in defense mode, obviously, because Quillfort Stealth is unaffected by all monsters and ranks levels underneath it.
Yes, and that is because it was tribute summoned.
Yep.
So he...
Necroz of Brionac for Necroz of Unicorn.
Presumably, because he already searched Kaleidoscope.
Indeed.
Is he going to have another shot at an Exciton Knight here?
I don't think he plays double Exciton. Well, he bounced. The Quillfort Carrier bounced, returned the Exciton back into the extra deck, so he has access to it again.
So he can do that.
But the sacrifice being on stealth, the stealth would be unaffected by the Exciton, wouldn't it?
The stealth is, yes.
Yeah, and he would get to search for the sacrifice as well for a scout that would replace the one that he would destroy. So Exciton probably won't be coming.
Not particularly effective.
Without even considering the fact that he has Recreates it. So anything that Matt will do will probably get negated by the Recreate.
He doesn't know that, though. Does he?
He searched it in turn 1. He may have forgotten by now because it's been a while.
Okay, so he should know that he has the Recreate because he did. If he did search for it.
Looks like he's going Exciton again because of the Recreate. Because Recreate only negates it for that turn as well, right? And then on,
what's interesting about the Recreate is because it works as a mandatory effect.
Right, so
after it's already face up, if Matt summons a Manju or a Senju, its effect actually won't be negated because the Recreate goes Chain Link 1 as a mandatory, and then the Senju or Manju is optional, so it'll go on as Chain Link 2 or higher.
So the Exciton Knight was successfully summoned, its effect activated, and it resolved as planned. So,
and as we said before, the stealth is going to stay on the field. So, and he's getting to search for a scout or whatever he needs.
Right.
More than likely scout.
Even so, that was a lot of destruction. Both of the pendulum zones are now emptied. That's not to say junk can't replace them, but It's definitely...
Matt is definitely not out of this now. He's right back in it. He has a Preparation of Rites, which is one of the best cards in Necroz because it adds back a ritual spell, and you can search your deck for a level 7 or lower ritual monster, which is a majority of the deck. It is restricted to 1 because it is one of the best cards in Necroz.
Oh, I didn't realize that Recreate only affects monsters with levels.
Oh, so
not exceeds monsters.
So Recreate does nothing to the exceeds monsters.
Yeah, it actually just does nothing to Exciton.
Can't use it against Exciton Knight.
I don't know why I thought it worked against Exciton.
It's a weird card.
Yeah. I think it's because all the other Cool 4 monsters say like level or rank lower than this, and then I just assumed Recreate was the same text.
What level is that stealth?
7 or 8? 7?
7.
7. I think there's 7.
Is it vulnerable to Trishula?
Yeah, you could definitely get Trishula, but he wasn't able to do that.
So that might be...
but his hand he has Valkyrs, Manju. So if he survives this turn, he will have a chance to climb back into it. See what
through an Effect Veiler and a lose a turn, but I'm not sure if that's...
Oh, I didn't even notice that Benedikt drew another copy of Lose One Turn.
He drew it off his monolith last turn.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he found the Effect Veiler for his draw phase this turn.
Yeah, so...
This is
not the best
rough.
Timing on those draws.
Yeah.
You could have used those a couple seconds ago.
Benedikt's opening was so strong, and Matt was able to fight back, but Benedikt is going to continue putting on the pressure.
Yeah, and because Benedikt also has a Cool 4 in his hand, he can do the same thing where he bounces away the Exciton once again.
We're going to do this again.
Yeah, he can just assemble the scale, bounce it away, and then just have his trap card and his Effect Veiler, probably Effect Veiler the Senju, lose a turn if he special summons anything, and then it'd be really hard to win from there.
Benedikt's really, with his Clifford deck, has really found a way to utilize Clifford's stealth to the maximum potential that it has.
So he uses, puts Scout in the Pendulum Zone, pays 800 life, adds Clipboard Carrier to his hand.
Oh, he has...
and now
Carrier is scale 9?
Places in his Pendulum Zone.
Or is Scout the 9? He's the 1.
I believe Scout's the 9.
Yeah, Scout's the 9 and Carrier's the 1.
It does look like it.
And Carrier gives all of his Cliffords the 300 to boost. All Clifford monsters gain 300 attack on his side of the field. While it's in the Pendulum Zone, it's its Pendulum effect.
Okay, so how do you get rid of that Exciton Knight?
He special summoned a Carrier and tributed away.
Oh,
so and returned it again.
I missed the tribute summon. Yeah. Okay, so Monolith is gone, so at least you won't draw any cards.
Yeah, but even though Matt has 2 of the best cards he could ask for, Preparation Rites and Manju, it still might not be
He needs a Mystical Space Typhoon right here.
Because he's going down against lose 1 turn, right? He's facing up against.
Mind Curse is interesting.
Why do you think that Junk flips the for Denko Sekka? Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Denko Sekka would have been.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that
huge there.
That's the most obvious.
You said if once his summon does not let your opponent or either player activate any spell or traps or set while it is facing on the field while you control no spell or trap cards.
Yeah. So activating that lose 1 turn there was a great play, and a play that less experienced players may not have realized. When you're ahead, like Junk is in the current position, and your field is basically secured by a trap card you have face down, you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable to anything your opponent might be playing, because even if there's a small chance your opponent has it, you'd be giving up you'd be creating an opportunity.
You want to restrict their outs.
Yeah, you'd be creating an opportunity for your opponent to come back. So if Heuvel had Denko Sekka, he could have summoned it and prevented the activation of lose 1 turn. So to stop that, he just flipped will lose 1 turn immediately. There's really no drawback to doing so, because if his opponent has Mystical Space Typhoon or any other card to destroy 1 turn, he will activate it.
And it's the only one.
There's only 1 card in the back row, and
you might want to save for Scout, but
it's actually arguable that he might not have wanted to flip it for the reason that. So even if he summons Denko Sekka, right? That means he's not summoning a Manju or a Senju, so he's not getting additional search. So your Effect Veiler doesn't need to hit either of those. So then he's going to play his whole turn.
He has Effect Veiler for Denko Sekka.
Yeah, he plays his whole turn into thinking that he has no way to stop anything, and then he just Effect Veilers the Denko Sekka before Heuvel does his last thing, and then flips his lose.
That's true. He does have Effect Veiler in his hand. That definitely does change the calculations on that.
Yeah, I think both lines are arguable. Like you defend either.
You definitely can defend either play.
See if he decides to use Effect Veiler on the Manju. He does.
I like Junk's play though here.
Yeah,
because he has to lose 1 turn for whatever. I mean, if Exciton comes down for a 3rd time this game,
it will do the same thing. However, now Heuvel has Mind Crush. So then he's going to Junk is going to Pendulum Summon all of his monsters next turn and attempt to tribute away Carrier. But whatever he searches out Scout,
he's losing.
Yeah, he's going to get ripped out of his hand.
He needs a good draw here.
He needs a Quill Fort. He needs any Quill Fort.
Why any?
Because he can just Pendulum Summon away.
It's not a Clifford. He actually drew a dead Summoner's Art because he plays 2 Scout and 1 Monolith.
And one of the scouts is already gone?
Yeah, both the scouts are gone, and his one monolith is gone, so he drew a Summoner's Art, which is actually completely dead in this situation.
He can't use it to search for anything.
He has no targets.
The previous reason why he needed to draw any Quillfort is because he can do the same thing where he special summons all of his monsters back from the extra deck. And whatever Quillfort he searches off Quillfort Scout, Heuvel is most likely going to Mind Crush away.
Right.
So then he just needs any Quillfort to tribute for the carrier. So I think time was just called.
True. He needed anything he could tribute.
Yeah. I believe it's time
to tribute for, rather.
Nope. Yeah, it looks like they're either talking about. They might be just talking about a ruling. I believe this is game 2. I don't think time is called. I think it's been that long. Yep.
Feels like it's been pretty quick.
See what he decides to do, because the lose one turn causes complications for Benedikt as well, because his monsters that he uses as special summon all go to defense mode as well.
Okay, so he uses the effective Scout, pays 800 life points, adds the Stealth to his hand. If you're right and Heuvel has Mind Crush, he'll probably activate it.
I'm pretty sure he does, but I don't know why he hasn't flipped it yet.
He's waiting for the pendulum?
But no, because even here,
that's scary.
Junk could have just tribute summoned the Stealth with those two, popped the back row without being able to respond, because the way Stealth works is anything that was under it. So anything that's chained link like lower than Stealth, because when he tribute summon will be last.
That's scary. So yeah,
he did wait.
It is what you said. He waited for the pendulum summon. But that was risky, right?
Yeah, because he could have just tributed away the Stealth.
He could have tributed his monsters.
But now he pays off big. He played correct because he knew the only way he could win this game is if he filled his board up.
Does it pay off big, though? Because the Exciton Knight's going to destroy everything anyway.
No, not for Benedikt. For the play about holding the Mind Crush until Benedikt decided to pendulum summon all his monsters, and he made sure that he doesn't have another card to tribute. So he has all his guys out here, and he's going to lose everything.
What would be the difference, though? If he had used Exciton Knight first to clear the field, and then allowed... Well, no, not Exciton. If he had used the Mind Crush first...
Mm-hmm. I think the thing you were trying to go for there, Billy, was that getting the extra monsters makes Exciton like resolve better. But even though he could Exciton even with the number of cards he had there,
right? So he was way behind.
So like him committing extra monsters to the board actually just didn't really necessarily affect. Yeah, it didn't affect whether or not he could resolve Exciton.
Right. So what did I just miss?
He entered battle and he activated Exciton's effect to destroy everything. But since Helix and Stealth were tribute summoned, or maybe some afterwards.
Yeah, because they weren't special summoned. They're immune to
unaffected by levels and ranks lower than them.
Yeah. So Exciton will not destroy them.
Oh, I see. So you're right, I guess. Well, no, because even if he had used the Mind Crush first, he wouldn't be able to pendulum summon because this pendulum zone would be empty.
Well, he could just pendulum summon after if he Mind Crushes first, but it makes no difference because the whole point is he Mind Crushes first so that if Junk for whatever reason reads that Heuvel has the Mind Crush set.
Should be a very good read.
Yeah, he can just tribute away Helix, tribute away Stealth, summon it. Helix goes Chain Link 1, Stealth goes Chain Link 2. Stealth's effect makes it so Heuvel can't respond. Blows away the Mind Crush, bounces away the Exciton, and is able to attack.
Right.
Whereas if he Mind Crushes before, even if Junk's pendulum summons a bunch of guys, they'll still all just get destroyed by Exciton. So it doesn't make any difference in that light.
Let's see with this one card. He has no cards. Well, the funny thing about Necrons is when you have no cards, you actually do have... They are turn one at a time, it looks like. But even when you have no cards, you have the mirrors. But he just drew another mirror, which is the worst thing you can draw when all you have are the ritual spells. And Benedikt takes this one 2-0.
All right, so Benedikt Junk, using 3 Clipboard Stealths in his deck, takes a 2-0 victory over Necros. He's moving on now undefeated. I believe this is round 8, so that would be an 8-0 record.
Which is very impressive.
Yeah, he's on the right track for a top cut finish.
So rather than play footage of the YCS and its surroundings, we actually have a replay from round 5. Jeff Jones match
I'm excited to see. I missed out on this because I was playing inside events, but we had Jeff Jones versus Mike Albanese.
Which was an awesome match because you really get to see how good Shadals can be against Necrons.
Oh, and they can be so good.
Yeah.
So that was a good match. And if you missed it earlier, now you have another opportunity to watch it. We'll be back with one more round today for another feature match in a little while.
Thank you.
Tune in.